Grow My Cleaning Company teaches owners of cleaning companies just like you how to grow your company, make more money, and finally take charge of your financial future and your life. This podcast is about automating and creating systems that give you time and money freedom so you can grow like crazy without losing control. Since this is totally free, if you're getting tons of value, want to support us, and make sure that you get more of the good stuff, subscribe, rate, and review to this podcast today. Now, on to the show. All right, and we should be live. Hey, everybody. You may notice the fine-looking fellow to my right, if you're watching the video or on with us live, is not the lovely Natalie, and I'm very, very sorry. Everybody always loves Natalie over myself or just about any guest. It is my friend and elite graduate, alumni, whatever you want to call it, Dallas Campbell. Actually, this guy and his family, or his wife and his sweet little boy, came to town. We had dinner and we were leaving, and I was like, man, I forget what happened, but I was shocked that you hadn't been on. I had to introduce you because Dallas is like super cool. So I figured I would bring him on. He could tell a story. Dallas, give the people what they want. Tell them who you are, why you're here, why they should care. Talk to us.
Hey guys, I'm Dallas Campbell, and I own a commercial cleaning business in the North Dallas area. It just makes it easier living in Dallas with my name being Dallas. Company name is Service on Command, and I'm so thankful I found Mike and his team.
All right. Well, that covers the $20 I owe you in terms of saying nice thing. Now let's get on the good stuff. And of course, Daisy immediately says, "Where's Nat? I just said there's no Nat today. How dare you, Daisy?" And welcome from everybody else. All right. So these are my favorite calls. I get on yap, but it is so much better as opposed to me telling you, hey, here's the things you could do that should work and will work, versus, guys and gals that are in the community going on, hey, here's what I did that actually worked. And beautiful thing about Dallas is no one's going to be like, well, yeah, but he's a genius. I could never do that. After you see him, you'll be like, oh, I could do that. That's not, please, if Dallas could do it. TJ's in the house. Good to see you, buddy. So I always like starting from the bottom and just kind of working our way, or starting from the beginning, work on our way kind of to present day. And then we got Jason Johnson in the house. I think he might have been in the same time as Dallas, maybe. I don't know if you know Jason. Oh, I
think he was before me.
He was before you? Okay.
Yeah,
he's older and wiser than the both of us. So Kim and Jason are watching from some undisclosed location. They almost never go home that I can tell. They're always out partying and doing so they'll have to tell the chat where they're at. But I guarantee it ain't the office. All right, so let's start right at the beginning. We'll work our way up to kind of present day, because you've got a great story. Just like the title, if you guys are like, hey, I thought I was going to learn how to get $14,000 in new revenue and all the employees I need. Well, that's what Dallas said he got. So we're definitely going to get there, I promise. I just want to start at the beginning and work our way in. Richard Heflin in the house. Good to have you, buddy. So before we got together, and this is so fun because I think you graduated the program months ago, no?
Yeah, I ended in July.
Okay, and we're recording this in September, so it's been a little while. So we certainly started way back in like April or May. So I'm really excited to like kind of remember. So yeah, go from the beginning. What wasn't working when you and I got to actually enroll Dallas myself. A lot of times we've got coaches that do that. I remember I personally got to talk to him. So and I forgot. I'm so sorry. What made you reach out? What was working? What wasn't? What was your struggle?
Yeah, so I had a couple things. One, my biggest problem was the employees. And I got to the point where I was absolutely terrified to grow because I couldn't keep good people, or I couldn't find good people. Either way you want to look at it. And I would always have holes, and I was hiring warm bodies and just sticking them in and having them go. And so I was really at a point where I was really honestly terrified to grow. And I was trying to grow as far as I could go. Maybe it was an hour away, I'll do it. And then one of the final straws for me is I was having a cover position for a girl that I had to terminate, and I had nobody to cover for it. And it was a large account, 40 hours a week, and so I had to cover. And so I'm cleaning toilets, I'm mopping floors, everything myself, which has never been my plan, but it was an emergency scenario, and I was just fed up and just started listening to different podcasts while I'm cleaning. I'm thinking, well, might as well do something productive while I'm mopping floors here. And I came across your podcast and was like, man, this has got everything that I need, because I knew I had holes in my business. And I knew I needed to plug them, but I didn't know how, or I didn't have the time necessarily to put it all together. And listening to your podcast, I was able to find out, okay, these are all the holes that I have, and I can plug them. And literally within 24 or less than 48 hours, I was enrolled.
So my favorite thing is guys and gals that were like, oh, I listened to the podcast. I was cleaning, and a lot of that is I was cleaning and I was listening to the podcast, and then they're on the podcast, right? And then now my favorite part is the third piece. Here's your opportunity, Dallas. What would you say to two people? One, April Dallas, listening to the podcast, cleaning into the middle of the night, going, this is not what I signed up for. What would you say to old Dallas or younger Dallas? And then what would you say to the guy or gal that's listening right now, cleaning, going, this sounds great for Dallas, but it can't happen for me. I can't wait to hear these answers.
I would probably say they're still the same thing, is just do it. This is your great source. This has got the systems and the programs that you need to be able to grow. Don't sit on the fence about it anymore and get serious about it. Because if you're not serious about it, nothing's going to change. You're just going to be stuck in that same rut, doing the exact same thing you did yesterday. And if you're cleaning, that's the worst thing you can do because you have no time to grow whatsoever. And if you're fearful about growing because you can't get your employees fixed or the training fixed, here's your solution. I mean, I was on the verge of spending over $2,000 on some stupid training videos just because I knew I needed to train my people better. And I think that was one of the things I mentioned on the call when you asked me what was I doing to kind of grow. And I'm like, well, I know this is a problem, and I'm looking at spending the old $2,400 to $3,000 on videos, and I'm so thankful I didn't do that, and you told me not to. And now I see why after going through your program. Like, makes total sense.
Because the first thing I would have told you to do is shelve those and not use them. You'd be like, I spent the money. I'm like, I know, but you still don't want to use them. They're no good.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not talking about any specific company, by the way. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I looked at several different companies that had the training videos, and I come from a hospital cleaning background. And we had training videos in there, and no one ever watched those stinking things. And I knew how unproductive they were. But yet I'm still trying to do the exact same thing that I was taught in corporate America, which was just not right for me.
So 2 things before we move on, because, hey, Mimi, good to have you, sister. 2 things before we go on. First, every time someone's like, do it, you got to join up, blah, blah, blah. 2 things. 1, we only take a certain very limited amount of people. There's no way you can sign up. The process is always just go to growmycleaningcompany.com, start with the online webinar. It's totally complimentary. Give you some 5 ships, the best stuff we have, all pushed together. So just everyone's going to text or email. How do I do it? How do I sign up? We really select about who we take. So just go to growmycleaningcompany.com for all that. Second, the thing that you can absolutely do, whether we are involved or not, is what Dallas said that was a writer downer, is make the change, make a decision, have a commitment, come up with a plan. So if we're part of that plan, great. Happy to talk with you what that looks like. If we're not, fine. The commitment is the key to the whole operation. So we talked to hundreds and hundreds of them. I think last month we had 184 requests for people that wanted our help. And that's every month. So thousands a year. And the difference between the folks that succeed and don't succeed is that commitment. There's people that are interested in growing their cleaning company, if it's easy or cheap or not scary, or they don't have to grow or step out of their comfort zone. And there's people that are like, I will do anything it takes. It's legal, ethical, and moral. And Dallas, when we talked, was at that point of, I'll do anything it takes. It's legal and ethical and moral. And the man of his word, he did, right? So that, I just want to encourage you, the commitment's non-negotiable, whether we're a good resource or not. That commitment doesn't matter where you go. Anyone that tells you like, oh, just give me money or just do this thing and it'll be mad. Here's the secrets, right? We had someone call one of our guys, what's the secrets? I know you guys have secrets. I don't know if we have secrets. We certainly have processes and systems at work, but the secret is freaking be committed and work hard. Like, so anyway, I just want to encourage folks on that. That commitment is big. Anything to add on that before we move on, Dallas?
Take action. I think that's the biggest thing, is just, get up and do it, and follow it, even if it's out of your comfort zone. I mean, there were several things going through that program that I wasn't comfortable with, and I've had to do it, and it's been able to reward me greatly for it. I was nervous as all get out making my own trading videos, and I was nervous about doing a Facebook Live, and now I'm at the process. Now I got my accounting fixed and all my books, and so now next step is going through and doing price increases, and so that's the next thing I'm a little nervous about. But there's just too many stories of people being successful with that. So there's no reason to be fearful of it.
Well, good. Dallas's customers, anyone that's watching this video that's getting a price increase, I promise it's not just good for Dallas, it's good for you. This is how this guy makes sure that they provide the Rockstar service and the surprise and delight and the red carpet that you all are, I'm sure, accustomed to. Daisy says, she's one of our millionaire mastermind folks, she says it's a love-hate relationship. It's so, you guys pay me to abuse you. And I love what Dallas said about just do it, because we can talk and talk and talk and talk about talking and get ready and think about maybe doing, and none of that's all garbage, but that action taking is huge. So let's do that. I love when you say, like, you asked me to do some things that was uncomfortable, that was scary, it was out of my comfort zone. What was the kind of most, the highest scare, highest out of my comfort zone, doing the thing that most freaked you out or you're uncomfortable with, that got the most value? So just everyone else out there can go, oh, maybe I can do that.
I would probably say my books. I knew that they were bad, and I was terrified of that once I found out just how bad they were. But now that they're fixed, it's like life, and it's just a completely different world. for me. And so now I really know what's going on with every one of my accounts, and I use QuickBooks. And so it's easier for me to pull it up. I'm eliminating my Excel spreadsheets as I go through this. So that's saving me a ton of time to be able to do that and have that opportunity. Another thing that was scary for me was changing the way that I do interviews. I knew that the process, because that's the same process I had always done. I did this with the same business, but I got the exact same results, poor to pathetic and time wasting. And so now that I've switched over to this, I was kind of nervous for me. And is people going to show up to these group interviews? What's going to happen? And I know going through the program, I actually had like 100 applicants one week.
I remember your funnel was freaking broken, and it took like 2 weeks. I kept going, Dallas, I know we can fix this. I don't know how, but I just knew that it would work because it works 100% of the time. But you were one of the ones that took 2 or 3 weeks to freaking fit. You were driving me nuts for a minute.
And then we finally figured it out. But we wouldn't have figured it out if I didn't have the system and the process to find it and to track everything. So thankfully I had that tracking program. We were able to find it out. The next day I made a call to Indeed, and they had paused all of my stuff because some verbiage that I had in there that was ridiculous. And so I took that verbiage out, back up and running, haven't had one single problem with it since. And I've been able to hire some really phenomenal people through it and really overhire. And so I'm never in need of employees anymore. It's been absolutely perfect for me. The biggest stress in my business now is gone.
So many things on that. First of all, I want to encourage, and that was one of the things I love about Dallas. I remember when we were in the program, he was, I don't want to say discouraged. That might be too harsh, but he never gave up. He never came to be like, this doesn't work. There was never, because that's uncoachable. Once someone comes to me like that, it's like, I have all the cure in the world, but if you don't believe it's going to work and you won't take the pills, then it won't work and you'll be right. Self-fulfilling prophecy. So I love that Dallas came to me frustrated, like, hey, this isn't working, but super coachable, super like, I'm sure when I told him, I promise we'll get it sorted out. I don't even know how we'll get it. I don't know what the heck's going on. I was befuddled. He just was like, okay, we'll figure it out. And we kept sticking with the data. So again, it was an easy thing at the end. Indeed, it's turned this thing off. I hadn't given a heads up. Sounds silly, like no big deal. Well, you try figuring that out when there's a big long funnel. And the cool thing is I kept saying, go back to the data, go back to the data. A lot of times I coach people on that. They don't want to do it. They want to stick with the drama and the stories and this and that and the other. He kept going back to the data. And then it only took a week or two. It was a frustrating week or two, but it, without the data. So had we not set up the bidding, billing, and tracking the way that you needed to, we would have never found it, or we're taking forever to find it, or more likely to just given up and said, this won't work. And you'd be in the same spot. So I love that marriage between, because I never want anyone to be like, hey, just give us money and we'll fix your business, because that couldn't be further from the truth. We'll give you systems and processes and mindset work and accountability and coaching and community and all sorts of good stuff, which is 100% worthless until you get up and do the work like Dallas did. And when it gets hard, go, yeah, I still have to do the work. It wasn't like, interested in growing would have given up. Dallas was committed. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I would even say that some of the mindset calls that I had with Carl helped me to say, okay, when there's a problem going on, what's my reality? Not to get frustrated, don't get my emotions tied into it, but instead go back to the data, go back to the facts, go back to what's real, and get your mindset right, and so you can make a more educated and better decision.
And the cool thing is, a lot of what we perceive as reality is our perception of reality, right? So this broadcast is happening. I might think it's going fantastic. Dallas might think it's going terrible. You guys listening might think somewhere in the middle, or who knows what. And is some of that true? I don't know. We all probably have a piece of the truth. The only thing that's true is this is happening right now, but we could adopt certain things. So perfect example, when Dallas was running into his funnel, he could have said, this funnel isn't working and it's never going to work. Well, this funnel's not working is the truth. How he chose to react on that, the truth he chose to adopt was an effective one. All right, I have control over my mindset, my response, and I'm trusting the process, and I'm trusting if I get the data, I'll figure it out. And that led to a reality of everything works. He could have chosen to believe this doesn't work, it's never going to work, it's not for me, Mike's crazy. There's 1,000 other realities he could have chosen, and that would have become his reality. So I love that people just think like, oh, well, the truth is no one wants to work in my area. Well, okay, I would disagree that you could adopt that belief and get that result, or you could adopt the belief of the systems and processes I've used up until now have attracted people that don't want to work. I just need to change my systems and processes. So it has so much to do with how you respond, just like what Dallas said. He got the coaching from Carl. How you respond to something we maybe don't like is far more important than the thing that happens, because we have influence over that, but no control. How we respond, 100% control. Fair?
Fair.
Okay, so I've been talking way too much. We're And just so you guys know how we did this, on our office manager emailed Dallas, hey, what's the big result you got? So we can put the title. And he said he's got $14,000 in new recurring work, and he's got all the employees we ever need. I'm guessing most of you would like to hear that story, so I will shut up and get out of the way and let Dallas tell it.
Yeah, so like I said, when I first was starting your program, I was absolutely terrified to grow because of the employees. Then we got all that fixed. And then I had a lot more confidence. So I felt great. So whenever I'm walking in to give a bid, a presentation, I'm not worried about, if I get this account, what am I going to do? Who's going to clean it? How is this going to work? How am I going to train all these people? Where are they going to come from? I didn't have any of those worries. And so when I walked in there to get this account, it's 7 days a week, and we put in about 15 hours a day into this location total. And we do it on graveyard shift. So it's been absolutely
not a shift that you want to cover if someone doesn't show up.
No, and that's why I have 3 people a night. Just in case somebody calls out, 2 people can work 8 hours and we're totally fine. No big deal. And it's covered. But also having, a communication board for all the team where we can talk on is another huge asset that I learned from your program as well. But going through that process, understanding, how to do bids better through your program, as well as how to close the deal better and not to give too much just to get the sale. Making sure that I get that 50, 30, 20, because that's what I need to be able to continue to grow and develop and do different things and get more accounts like that, and not just like that, but bigger. And so I went in there, met with a client, and he liked us. He absolutely hated his in-house crew and was ready to get rid of them. He even called one of them a criminal.
Oh my.
So he had some major pains that I could work off of. And had I not really been trained to look for those pains and those frustrations, I wouldn't have been able to take my knife and, jab it in there into his heart a little bit more to let him know I'm your resource to get this fixed.
So that's the writer downer. Jab the knife into your customer's flesh. That's what I hear Dallas say. So if you're writing crap down, that's Dallas does not fool around about this business.
No, I took advantage of that. Not in a bad way, but in a way that says, hey, I'm going to build my program to fix your problems. And he appreciated that, and we shook hands, and the deal was done right then.
And what was the monthly? How big is that customer?
That customer is about 12,800, 900 a month.
All right, so we're talking 150 a year, give or take.
Correct.
If they stay 3 or 4 years, that's a $500,000 relationship.
Exactly.
The one thing that you said that I want to, if you guys missed it because you went quick, is not that there weren't a lot of good things, but if you take one thing away, instead of going to them going, hey, here's what we do and here's why you want it and here's why we're the best, it's all we centric. He said, why don't I reverse engineer it? I'll find out what you guys want and then I'll just solve that problem, right? Yep. Like for me, I love doing live events, and if that was the best way, and we've done some live events, you guys love them, but it can only help this many people. The vast majority are like, I can't get on a plane, I don't have time, blah, blah, blah. So I don't go, well, let me try and sell you on live events. I mean, that's great for some people. It's more about, what do you guys need? So I love that attitude of, let me really understand what their pain is and mold my company so we can solve it. And then we just, I don't want to say take orders, but it's a lot easier to just help people as opposed to trying to sell people on, here's why we're great. And they're like, well, I don't care about any of those things. It's a lot easier to go, I know what you care about. Here's how we solve that problem, as opposed to, let me tell you why I'm spectacular. Did I totally twist what you're trying to say? No,
that was perfect. That's right on board.
Okay, perfect. So I love that. I mean, there's so much packed in there. Before he even talked to the customer, he knew, and I would love to hear perspective on this, because we do talk about really understand their pain, what they need, and then help them with that. Are your competitors doing anything like that, or is it mostly just measuring square footage and giving a price?
It's exactly what I used to do: measure by square footage and give them a price, and then try to sell them on me. And so now completely flip that, because before I would even do bids with multiple people together. I don't do that anymore. And I was able to see that everybody's doing the exact same thing that I'm doing. So the only thing that's setting me apart is Dallas, and that's not always going to work, because that people don't care about me. It's all about fixing their needs and their problems. So now being able to see that twist, whenever I give them a proposal, they're like, wow, this is a lot different. Or I give them a gift or a shock and awe package. It's like, wow, this is kind of cool. It's so unexpected from them. And then when they get it, it's like, okay, now I really set myself apart, because no one else is doing that.
Yeah, so I think everyone else is telling them how they're the best and they can help them the best and they should choose them. You don't say anything. You just ask questions and then demonstrate it, which is
Exactly.
wildly and a lot more fun, right? As opposed to me saying, Dallas, I'm the best and I've been into this and I've helped this many people and I'm so smart and blah, blah, blah. And Dallas is just like, shut up.
Yeah.
Dallas does all the talking. I do all the listening and Dallas walks away going, that guy was a genius, right?
One of the other things that I've noticed from changing from what I used to do to now is before when I would just get the square footage, plug it in, give them a quote for that, I would notice that they would always ask me questions about us and about what we do, our experience, and how that would rate against others with their experience and everything else. Well, now I don't get those questions anymore whatsoever. Nobody asks about me or the business or how long they don't care at all. It was just that was a lull, and they were trying to decide what's the difference. And they thought, well, this is maybe how I can find it. This guy's got 3 years experience. This guy has 18 years experience. I don't get those questions anymore now, which is great because now I'm on a completely different playing field, because those were questions that they were asking all the other contractors, and I was on a level playing field at that point. I'm no longer in that same category anymore.
Yeah, because they were trying to take charge and go, well, I guess this contractor doesn't know what's going on, so I guess I have to ask the question. So there's like, exactly. I guess I better ask. But when you take charge and go, I know what's going on. This is what I do. I solve your pain. Let's talk about that. They're like, oh, thank God, someone knows what's going on, and they can just relax and know that. And then it's a son of a gun to bid against someone that's doing that. When you're just like, let me walk through and complain about how dirty your place is and make you feel bad about yourself and your decisions, versus let me understand what you need and see if I can help you. And if it's with us, great. And if it's not, great. I'm just here to really serve you, and I understand you better than anyone else. And you even say that. They know that. It's almost not fair. All right, we are way over time, but I want to make sure I feel pretty good about, thank you for giving so much value on how you attracted kind of all those new clients or that kind of revenue. Let's talk employees. What are the big shifts that you made to go from, I remember from basically you cleaning a 40-hour-a-week account in your spare time to you going, not when someone quits, not when we take on a new account, not when there's no circumstance where Dallas, I mean, you might choose to go out and encourage your people in that, but I mean, where it's like, if I have to clean this, that's not even in your universe, right?
Exactly. So just do that startup. I needed 5 people to be able to make it happen 7 days a week. And so we were able to hire those 5 people extremely easily.
So 5 more? How many did you have when we started?
I'm sitting at around, well, gosh, I used to have 15 to 17. Now I guess I'm around, I'm almost at 20. I'm probably in that 20 range of employees. I never thought about that. I need to make sure I update some of that stuff. But yeah, so we've been able to add on more because of that. And some of them are part-time. All of them are part-time. And so I'm able to have other accounts as we continue to grow. They're able to pick up some new accounts. So that transition is easy. This was by far the easiest transition we've ever done, or startup, when we started it last week. So we're a full week into it. We're starting up our second week. There's been 0 issues. I've had 0 call outs. It's been absolutely phenomenal. I've just never experienced a startup that easy.
And this is your biggest. You think it would be the most complex?
It's my second largest.
Okay. So one of your large, it wasn't like a little $300 a month account that's easy.
Yeah, right? No. Yeah, those are easy to pick up because I've gotten a couple of those since then as well. And so those were easy. I mean, just those are simple. But this one was a lot more challenging because I was going to have to hire 5 more people to make it happen. And so I hired them beforehand. I had people on deck ready to go, and they were already trained and ready, and they knew about it. And I was up there the first night with them, reviewed a couple of little items. Everybody else already knew exactly what to do, where to go, had the checklist, had everything ready to go. Extremely smooth transition. I absolutely loved it, and the client has loved it so far as well.
So when we started, you kind of mentioned 2 big problems with employees: finding the good employees and keeping the good employees. So it sounds like you're able to add a lot more easily. But what about the caliber of human being? Has that changed, or is it the same people, you just have more of them?
No, I've upgraded a few of them. I had a couple that I loved them as a people, but they just continue to have problems and issues that would arise from the clients. And so I upgraded them with a couple of people that I'd hired through the funnel that met our core values, and brought them in there. And I have had 0 complaints from those clients that I had complaints for before, from the people that I'd hired without the funnel, without the core values match. And so now that I've done that, it's been able to be, I've reduced the amount of complaints that we have. And then now, even on my checklist, I put our core values on there and the little, sentences on there so they can remind themselves, okay, this is how I make educated decisions throughout my shift that I'm working or working with this client or talking with somebody or out in the community, whatever the case may be, because they have the same core values as I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't have brought them on the team. So being able to have that match has been able to make so many transitions so much smoother. And when I started with you, I had a supervisor.
I remember that.
I don't have a supervisor anymore. You told me to fire him, so I did. And I'm totally kidding. It was mutual between me and that supervisor. One, because I just stressed him out to the max. Because I was having him do what other people would have him do, just run around checking on everybody. And now I haven't had a supervisor since, I think, May, and I've been able to make more money. But I've been able to put that money back into the company. But everybody has loved it. I haven't had any problems like I thought that I would have. And letting go of that crutch was really difficult for me because I felt like I needed that crutch because that was my biggest issue. But now completely changing what we do with core value-based interviews and hiring and training, we've been able to eliminate that position.
A, I love that. B, man, there's so much I wanted to say. So
sorry.
No, it's really good. I didn't want to interrupt because you're on a roll. So the supervisor, the huge thing I'm hearing is you didn't replace him with another person. You certainly didn't replace him with Dallas working more. You replaced him with systems and processes, correct?
Correct.
And it sounds like the system and processes are outperforming the supervisor. So it's not like you took a step down but saved money. You took a step up and saved money. And what was that guy? I mean, it doesn't need exactly, but about what was that guy paying? What's that save the company that you can either put into profit or
about
putting back
$2,000 a month.
What's that?
Yeah, about $2,000 a month.
All right, so that's 25 grand. I mean, actually, probably 30 grand after all the associated expenses. So we saved 30 grand a year. Plus, we upgraded it. Plus, there's just less headache. So I love that.
Exactly.
The caliber is good. There's one more thing. Oh, this is the other thing I want to say. When you earlier kind of touched on, it's really scary. It's hard to sell when you don't know who's going to be cleaning. Or you're afraid it's going to be Dallas cleaning. I think the same with hiring, right? When you're like, hey, we upgraded some folks. Well, before, when you didn't have the confidence, you'd have all the people you needed. We kind of let these C, D players hang around because, like, well, it's either him or me. And now you're like, I've got the confidence to go, no. We have A players are only that's all we take. So I love that.
And that's exactly what I'm doing now. So as people go through that interview process, I don't have an open position to give them hours. I'm interviewing to upgrade if I feel like there's a better candidate there, or I have somebody on the bench ready to go.
How much time do you spend per week hiring or dealing with the process?
2 hours a week. I spend, I take that back. With kind of going through Indeed and putting them into the meetings, I'm probably sitting at about 3 hours a week, maybe. An hour for the group interviews, and I do 2 group interviews at 2 different locations because, again, I was kind of far spread out.
Sure.
And so, or otherwise I'd be able to cut that time in half. But so about 3 hours a week I spend plugging people into our group meeting schedules, and an hour for the group interview. And then I send them to somebody else for the one-on-one interview.
Well, still 3 hours a week with all the employees you need, which I'm getting, if I remember right, it moved from 0 hours a week, 2 weeks, and then 20 hours a week because holy crap, I'm not to mention the 40 hours a week you were cleaning, but just the time trying to find people was 0, 0, 0. Holy crap, an emergency. That's all I do. And then, okay, the emergency's out. And instead of just kind of up and down, it's like, okay, I just spend 2 or 3 hours a week. It's kind of, I don't say preventive maintenance, but that way we always have people coming as opposed to just, we freak out when people quit and that's that.
Yeah, it's been really nice. It was really so much stress in my life. It's been great.
Honestly,
I just wish that I would have known it, but I didn't. And you don't know what you don't know until you find out.
And you're not ready till you're ready, right? Like, had you not gone through that pain, you might not have been ready to do the scary stuff that you had to do to get these results. But honestly, guys, gals, my favorite part is, and again, the money's great. I love that you're more profitable, make more. Oh, it's fantastic. Not to downplay that, but I love that when you guys came here to Phoenix and we got to go out to dinner. You were in like the second or first, the early part of, I don't know what it was, 7 or 10. It was a pretty extended trip. And I saw zero stress on that. And your wife was there. She was happy. So there wasn't like, holy crap, I'm terrified. It was just like, yeah, we're out to dinner. Our company's in a whole different state, making us money, and we're spending time with our family. And that's just how it goes. How'd the rest of that trip go?
It was phenomenal. I mean, we took 7 days in Arizona, and what I did, some of our training managers that I have, or I call them training managers, I had them pop around to other different accounts, do some inspections, and so I was able to get updates. I knew exactly what was going on, but I could choose when to look at the updates that I had. I didn't really have any calls. It was great. I was actually able to spend all the quality time that I wanted to with my family and no stress and be able to go out to dinner and with you guys and actually see y'all face to face, which was great. I appreciate that.
I'll have to, Anna, remind me we took a picture of, I think just us, or I don't know if your wife is in there, my wife. We'll have to post that in with the blog and with the whatever. So if you guys want to, those of you that aren't seeing the video or with us live on the podcast, you can still see Dallas's hairy mug. So, all right, we are way over on time. I always like letting the smart people talk last. So Dallas, finish us up, brother. What parting words do we have? We'll call this a day.
If you're feeling like you're stressed, there are better options than having to deal with the same thing and banging your head up against the wall. And don't let experience define your future. It doesn't matter if you just started this business, if you need it because you got laid off. It doesn't matter why you started your cleaning business. You have a why for it, and do whatever it takes to complete your goals, man. Don't give up. Just continue to push through, follow the process. Don't let your emotions take over, but take action and make some moves.
Very well said. Couldn't agree more. If you would like access to all of our resources and the help that we have, go to growmycleaningcompany.com. I would start, like I said, with the free on-demand training right at the top. But we've got hundreds and hundreds of hours of training. So growmycleaningcompany.com. Check it out. If you are the person that says, today's the day, I've made a decision, I'm going to take action, we would love to help. If you're just interested, not sure, pass, go somewhere else. Hopefully you guys had a good time. Glad to always get to brag on some of our genius people like Dallas. And we'll talk to you soon, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to today's show. If you're fired up, ready to grow, and want to see if you have what it takes to work with us at Grow My Cleaning Company, here's what I want you to do right now. Go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. That's growmycleaningcompany.com/talk to book an appointment to speak with me personally. I'm going to jump on the phone with you to get you crystal clear on where you are now, where you want to be, and how to get you there. Don't walk around in the dark any longer. If you are serious about growing your cleaning company, it's time to finally get the systems in place that you need to grow. We've helped hundreds of owners of cleaning companies not only grow their business and their personal freedom, but give back to their community as well. If that's what you're looking for, head over to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk and book a time to talk with me personally. I can't wait to get to know you and your business.